Good morning, everyone. It's Amy with Mama Bear Blue, and we are live here for Mondays with Mom, and I'm here with my mom, Debbie. And we have Big Mirror Makeover Monday.
Big? Oh, man.
These are big mirrors. As you are popping on here, be sure to give us a thumbs up and share the video out. We would appreciate that. And so I've had several mirrors from Goodwill, of course, sitting over in my collection of stuff, and two of them I got painted and put into the booth earlier this year, and they sold pretty quick. So we have two left. We have this big massive one and then a gray one over here behind me that already has a first coat on it. So we're going to be switching these out, which should be interesting because they are pretty heavy. All the products we use you can get at aimeemamabearblue.com, and if you are local here to Central Indiana, you can find them at Farm Girl Mercantile in Franklin and also Southport Antique Mall up in Southport. So the plan is to get a coat of DIY paint on each of these. Actually, that one is done. It's done in the color Old School. It's a shade of gray that I love. I use a lot. We are using, that's a big reach for you. Let's just set it on the glass, Mom, because this is going to get re-cleaned.
Okay.
This is faded burlap, and these are all paint. The base coats we're using is DIY paint brand. And then what we're going to do is dry that and go over it with a coat or two of Sweet Pickins milk paint and see if we can get just maybe a little bit of crackle. I don't want a lot, just a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, the undercoat on this is faded burlap, just a neutral. I put you don't have to put a base coat on this before Sweet Pickins, but if it does crackle, I want it to crackle down to this color. And sometimes it might crackle down to this dark brown, but I wanted that to be the main one. So, and that one has Old School, and that one will be probably more of a shade of a light gray milk paint. So, we're getting this first coat on here. It just needs to be one coat of DIY paint, but it's definitely going to take us working together to get this one covered. And then we will set it aside and bring the gray one over. I do, but I have to...
What?
Yeah, that'll work. We'll just keep it between us, I guess.
Okay.
All right. DIY paint, as always, you've probably heard me say, if you've watched me long enough, it can go on any surface, and that's why I love it. One of the reasons I love it. I painted on metal, but this I feel like looks like wood, but I don't know that it's wood. Do you think it's wood? No. It's that, I don't know what they call it. It's almost like a plasticky
look,
but it's heavy.
Yeah, it has a coating on it.
Yeah.
So.
But it will go on fine on any surface, metal, wood, plastic. We've used it on everything. Fabric, watered down to a dye because there's so much pigment in it. We've painted fabric. Vinyl,
yes,
that chair over there is vinyl.
You're a lot faster than me. I say that every time.
Well, yeah. That's all right. Because this can be kind of a sloppy.
It doesn't have.
You're not going to see this. It's just providing that undercoat of color that I want for the milk paint.
I kind of have the one that has more.
I know you've got the big end. And I was telling Mom before we started, I guess we can call it laziness, impatience, I don't know. But I don't want to take the time to tape this mirror off. So inevitably, yes, I will get some paint on the glass. But this is the way I've always done it. And I have a straight edge scraper. Right. I actually just got from, I think just from the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's falling apart. But we'll hold it. And then I easily, gently just scrape the paint right off. And then some Windex to clean it up once it's completely dry. And that, to me, is easier than trying to tape it and get the tape to sit directly where it needs to. But if you guys have the patience to do that, that would be the way to go. Another trick I've seen people do is just buy the cheap playing cards like at Dollar Tree in the kids section.
Oh.
And you just stick playing cards under the edge.
Idea.
I know. And then you can you can just throw them out if you want, or, yeah.
That is a good idea.
I know. So these will be getting finished up probably later this week and going in my booths somewhere. Got to make some room, but they are heavy. Well, this one, the other one's not too bad, but yeah, that's okay. We might have to both be doing that. That's all right. This is a pretty color. I like faded burlap. And then just a few minutes, we'll be mixing up that milk paint, and I can go through the steps on how to do that. All right. In those nooks and crannies, I just scrub, kind of get it on there. All right. How's the edges looking? I probably need to get that side on over there.
Yeah.
So we finished up the projects from last week, and I haven't got the pictures taken yet, but I did get them. I did get them done. They turned out really cute. The little totes that we were doing with the new Roy cycles.
Yeah.
And the little pumpkins are really cute. So the one I did post, though, was our live from 2 weeks ago, which was the seashells. And if you guys watched that, we took paint stir sticks and we put them together into look like a sign. And we painted each stick a different color, glued it on, used some IOD molds. That
was good.
What was it?
Starfish?
Yeah, the starfish molds. And then, so afterwards what I did was I decided to use one of the new stencils by JRV that was designed by Debbie of Debbie's Design Diaries, the paint lady. She's got like, I think 12 new stencil sets that are made to do signs. So she calls them sign kits. And they're really small, but they're really cute. And that one was the one about shells, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was really turned out well.
Your shoes and shells in your pockets.
Something like that, yes. And then the only other thing I did that I didn't do during the live is I put a little hot glue around each of the sea stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. Starfish. And then sprinkled on some of the DIY glitter stuff. Yeah.
It looks
I think
nice.
they call them making powders, but it's and it looks kind of shimmery like sand, and I think it turns out cute. And it's in my bathroom for a while. But that will probably be the last summer project. Now we're on to our fall anthro flips. All right, well, I think we pretty much got it. I'm going to go in here just a bit. How's the end look on yours? And we just got the DIY base coat on this in faded burlap. As you are popping on here, please let me know that you can hear us and see us. That would be excellent. Okay, let's just keep going. We're good. All right. This is dry. Mom dried it with the heat gun. So I think we're going to move this, Mom. We should have done that before we went back live because it's heavy. But I will get it. And then we're going to put the gray one up. And this one, like I said, already has the base coat. This one is done in the color Old School. I was confused on this one, which one was the top. This is actually the top.
Yeah, this is the top.
And this is kind of like a little shelf.
Yeah.
It's cute. So, okay, this has that base coat on. So what we're going to do is go ahead and mix up our Sweet Pickins milk paint. And on this one, it's got the gray base coat. So I think I'm going to use the color Cobblestone. It's one of the new colors by Sweet Pickins in the Bespoke collection by JRV. And I'm going to add in just a little bit of the creamy, just to lighten this gray up just a tad. I'm using just bags that are already open instead of opening new bags. So we're going to, but I think these nice neutral colors are going to be what we need. So what you're going to do to mix it up, the milk paint comes in a powdered form. So you don't want to over mix up too much. So you can always keep mixing little amounts, but if you mix up a bunch and don't use it all, it's going to spoil within a day because it does have real milk powder in it. So we're going to put in cobblestone. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the creamy to lighten it up. And then we're going to add some warm water to it. If you want to use an immersion blender to mix this and get it very mixed. If you want to get it very mixed, you can use an immersion blender, and that will get the chunks out. But I always just use a fork. If there's a few chunks, it's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. So first I'm going to mix up the powder colors because
that's important.
Yeah, we want to mix. We like to mix. So I have some warm water all ready to go, and I'm just a little at a time going to pour this in. And I don't want to get too much water. Then I'm going to have to add more powder.
Right.
But this definitely is not enough. See, it's just super chunky.
Yeah.
So this has to be the consistency. What they usually say is a melted milkshake consistency with the sweet pickings. I may have gotten this just a tad too watery. Let's add a little more powder. But I think we might. I'm thinking about maybe doing this color for both. It's a nice taupey neutral, because what I haven't talked about is doing yet is one of my favorite things to do with mirrors, and that's to add little elements of like the IOD transfers. There's lots. I picked out 4 that have lots of florals, and just putting a little bit either on the outside or even right on the glass. That's one of the easiest ways to apply a transfer. Is on the glass. So
if you give me that thing, I can be.
Well, we're going to be
getting
more and more paint on it.
Yeah. Forget that.
All right, so this is the right consistency, and that is a combination of cobblestone and creamy. And I'm going to add just a couple drops of Extra Bond. So what this does is, if you don't want a super chippy look, because milk paint does give that, you can add a couple drops of Extra Bond, and that just helps it from not like over chipping. But DIY paint as a base coat has always worked really well for me when I use Sweet Pickins as the top. So it adheres really nicely. I had maybe 6 little drops in there because I feel like it goes a long way. I've actually put too much in before, and it was so solid it wouldn't crack at all.
Yeah.
And you can force some chippiness with your heat gun too. So we're going to actually probably have 2 coats of this going on. I don't know, Mom. It's a little bit, there's not much left in that. I'm going to finish her off. Okay. We may have to find other things to paint to use this up.
You can go back behind the curtain.
I mean, there's a lot back there. All right, this is good. This is melted milkshake consistency. And we need brushes. Not want to use our faded burlap ones. I'm going to, do you want to use that one?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So we'll just get going. You need paint. Let's stick it there again. And once we get the first coat on, we'll get the heat gun on it and then see. I think we are going to need 2 coats. And what's going to happen is too, if we do get that second coat on there, I feel like it might be a little thick. Now, what do you think?
Well,
just a little. I'm just doing a tiny bit. When you start that second coat, sometimes that undercoat, the first coat of milk paint, will start to really chip.
Oh.
So sometimes it's just a surprise.
You never know.
So you got to be a little bit open to being flexible with what you get. But I like that. I like this color.
Yeah, I do too. It's really neutral.
Yeah. And this first coat does not have to be a thick coat of paint.
Okay.
It's kind of like just an undercoat to get the next layer to stick. And again, we will use the blade to get all our mess ups because there will be some. Hi, Claudia. Claudia's from Kansas City. Thanks for joining us. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so if you want to watch the first 15 minutes, it's on the other live. We're just doing thrifted mirror makeovers.
Am I putting this on too
I
thick?
probably had these. It's pretty thick. Let me get some of that off for you. It can just be really thin.
Okay.
We'll get that. We'll get it next with the second coat, but. I probably had these mirrors for a couple years.
Really?
Yeah. And as it sits, it gets a little bit, especially if you've added any extra bond at all, it does start to thicken pretty quick. So just evaluate whether you need a little bit more water. And our edges, can't forget the edges. Sorry, I was getting some of your thicker spots and using it for my paint.
They must be really thick.
When I first got this, I thought this was the top. And then I looked at the back and saw where the hangers were. I'm like, oh, this is actually a shelf down here. All right. This would make a nice little bathroom mirror, I think.
Yeah.
The other one I think is more like a hall, like maybe a
Really?
hallway or something, entryway.
Yeah.
I'm going to be careful and don't touch that part. Let me get this one moved. So this is the one we just did with the faded burlap coat on it.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Okay, that's all right. It'll dry. I think I can grab it from here and be okay.
I can't turn it off.
There we go. All right, put that aside. Not sure we've ever worked on projects quite this big during the live.
Right. Here, wait.
Here first, and here. Got it? All right. So we're going to do the same thing. Is that getting too thick? I feel like it's thickening up pretty. Ugh. Sometimes that happens. I really think it's when you have extra bond at all.
It's thickened.
Yeah. And as it stands too. So if you want to mix up your milk paint and kind of let it sit for 10 minutes, it might be a good idea. Turn this sound down. So my idea on this is for it to look kind of a little bit French country. With just a little bit of chippy, and then we can see what florals are going to look good on the mirror part, what transfers. So the ones I chose to consider, and I don't think I'm going to cover these completely, but just a few little spots on the wood or on the mirror. Saint Germain is really cute. Actually, the last mirror that I sold, I used Saint Germain on. So it's got one. It's got lots of little elements we can cut out if we need to. And then Menagerie. Most of these came out fairly recently. Has a lot of florals, also some fruit. We used up the bird cages already, most of them. Remember that project? Ooh, flowers falling out. You remember when we did the bird cage on the cutting board?
Yeah.
And then a couple others I pulled possibilities are collage de fleurs. And this is really cute too with lots of little flowers, rose botanical. So we're going to see how these look when they're done and kind of what colors are going to go best with that. Let me see if I can tilt this up enough for them to get a close up. I don't know. You hold that in?
Yeah.
So you can see we kind of didn't get every single spot, so some of the faded burlap
Shows through.
Yes, it's nice. Okay. Let me grab it this way.
Be careful.
All right. Get my lifting in for the day. And then we'll go back to this. Do a second coat so we can see if we get some chippy. And I started to. Oops. Sorry. I'm going to keep going through I have to clear out back there. Because my son is moving home for a while and he needs some storage space. But I saw stuff back there I forgot we had. We have some stools to do, a bench to do.
Oh, fun.
Lots of good stuff. So there is your brush, Mom, for getting a second coat. And we want to be pretty light-handed with this because you can tell it's not completely dry. In fact, do you want to...
Dry that?
Yeah, your end looks a little more... But don't put it... if you put the heat gun super close to this, it's going to bubble and crack. So... a little closer is fine, but yeah, that's good. About 12 inches away. So, I think what we'll do, I'm going to let these projects sit. We don't have that much left. Thank goodness. I thought maybe we may have overmixed. And then when we do finish this with the 2 coats, and then we'll do a little bit of sanding. So I think we will do that next week.
Okay.
So because these are 2 big projects, so we will sand it a bit, get it the way we want it to look, and then we're going to finish it with. I've really been loving the Sweet Pickens beeswax. Besides the way it smells, we kind of like the way it smells.
Oh man.
I know, lemons, right?
Mm-hmm.
We may finish it with the beeswax, so we'll just have to see how chippy it turns out.
Okay.
We may actually use a matte brush on top coat if it's super chippy. So, but the finishing it, the transfers wax, that will all be next Monday. So maybe we'll actually get them completely finished during one session. That would be great. So thank you guys for joining us today. I'm sorry for the crazy start we had. So today's live's chopped into 2. But if you have any questions, you're watching on the replay or anything, please let us know. Everything you can get at mamabearblue.com or locally at my booths. Feel free to message me with any questions you have. And we will be back next Monday to finish these mirrors up. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hello everyone, it's Amy with Mama Bear Blue. Quick sound check because I saw something flash up there for a second. Let's just check it out. Make sure we can hear ourselves. I think so. Yep. Sound I think is okay. All right. Well, I'm Amy with Mama Bear Blue. We are live for Mondays with Mom. I'm here with my mom, Debbie. We go live every Monday, most Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So welcome. We're actually finishing up the second part of a 2-parter, right?
Yes.
Where we took these thrifted mirrors and we used some DIY paint and milk paint. And today we're going to do the second half and get them all finished up. I'm really loving how this turned out.
Yeah.
And then one behind me, which I'll switch to in just a minute, turned out super chippy. This one a little bit, but not
bad.
Chippy.
No.
But this one over here, you guys will see, is chippier, and that one's getting a transfer today from Iron Orchid Designs. So, all right, let's talk about where we're at on this. So when we left it last week, we had the DIY paint and 2 coats of the milk paint on this. You can go back and check those out for the names of the colors because offhand, I can't remember. We mixed 2, creamy and something else. The color creamy and the color something else. It's okay.
Well, yeah, I can't
it's
remember
on last
either.
week's video, but that's where we left this. So what I did last night so that we wouldn't spend a ton of time sanding in front of you guys, because that takes a little bit of time on a mirror this big. So I sanded it so that any of the chippy flakes that were kind of loose were off. And also I did a little extra sanding in areas to give it a little more of a distress, especially on this one. And then I took a soft cloth and just wiped all the dust off. Actually, I got a little vacuum out too because they're so big. And I cleaned the glass, and I used my razor blade to get the paint that was on the edges of this mirror. And okay, so here's where we are on this one. So to finish it off, we need to wax it or seal it in some way. So I chose this time to go with the Sweet Pickins oil wax in clear, and I'm not sure we've ever used this on one of our lives. I've used this myself on projects. I painted a dresser once, milk painted, that Mom actually bought, the pink one. And it has dark oil wax on it, and I feel like it's pretty durable. You feel like it's held up pretty well?
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So the way you apply this is pour it into a cup, separate cup, and then I just like to have these inexpensive chip brushes on hand from Amazon. You can buy a whole bag for super cheap. And that way you can just toss this out, and you don't, because once this oil is in this, you don't want your good brushes to have this in it. So do that. You can also just use a cut up t-shirt to apply it. So what we did was just brushed it on the whole project. I'm going to be wiping this right back off, Mom.
Okay.
So I already did this. I coated the whole thing like that, and then I let it sit for 20 minutes, half an hour to kind of soak in a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you go in with just a soft cloth and kind of wipe up the extra and kind of buff it in. And after this has time to cure up, I'm guessing maybe several days. It probably slowly continues to cure like DIY paint, but this will provide a really tough surface. Not that you need a super tough surface on a mirror, because it's not like it's getting a lot of wear, but it will protect that, and it looks really pretty too. So this is pretty much done. I've actually coated the whole thing before we started, and then used the soft cloth to get up the extra. But I think I'm going to go ahead and move this one, Mom.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit.
So,
Here.
I left the part in front of you unwiped. If you want to kind of wipe all that up. So we'll be able to get this one moved. Now this one isn't getting a transfer. I really just love the way this looks, and with the shape of this mirror, I think it's going to be a good seller without adding anything to it. But this other one we're going to add a transfer to. So I will show you that. You can also add multiple coats of this, just letting it dry a little bit in between. Probably just a couple hours. You can go back on and redo that and provide even, an extra layer. But this oil wax from Sweet Pickins, like everything else we use, is on my website, aimeemamabearblue.com. And it comes in clear and white and dark. So you have some options there for whatever look you're going for. But I'm going to move this, which is always a little bit of a challenge.
Wait.
I'm going to hand you that.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the pretty transfer we're going to put on it and how we'll finish that. Okay. First of all, let me lean it up and see if you guys can see how chippy this thing turned out. Especially the top, right? Oh, look, you get to see my dirty workshop back there. Okay, whoop. Oh, we can turn that lamp on, Mom. You want to pull that lamp above us? There.
Wow.
That adds a major difference. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is find some little pieces of this transfer that are going to be looking good color-wise on this. And then I'm not going to cover the whole thing, but my thought is maybe we'll just come up the sides a little. Let me think. That's the bottom. I always get confused on this mirror.
Yes, this is a bottom.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is probably...
on the wood?
Yeah, the wood, and then I might have it where it's coming up a little bit onto the glass. But this set is called Sarah Featon's Botanicals, and this was actually from the IOD release last time, the summer release. It's an 8x12, and it's got 8 little pages of botanicals and flowers. So that's what we're using on this. We got a lot of little pieces of greenery that I think will be cute. So just cut some of these out and kind of get an idea. Yeah, get an idea of what it might look like to put them on there. Yeah. Kind of looks like it's growing up from the shelf.
Yeah, really.
Cute. Yeah. So we're not going with anything super colorful. I just want to keep it kind of green. There's a little bit of white and yellow in these. We're not going for super bright because this is a really rustic looking
That's cute with the one
I
flower.
think so too. So this is, I'll kind of give you guys a look at this page. So nothing super bright, just pretty. So when you are cutting the transfers out, you just leave the backing on. The white backing needs to stay on until you're ready to use it. It's an extra piece. And then if you've watched me for any length of time, you've probably seen us do transfers a lot, but I always like to talk through the steps to remind you guys how to do it. The transfers are not sticker, they're more of a rub-on application that once you rub it on though, and you buff it, they look really pretty. It doesn't look like you just slapped a sticker on there. You might use these, we'll see. I think that'll be pretty. I don't really want to apply up here. I feel like it's chippy enough and I want that to show. Mm-hmm. But down there where it's not quite as chippy,
Right.
that's how we're going to do it. So I may actually flip it long ways. I think that would work for us.
We could try.
Let's see. Your mom's voice is loud and clear, but your voice is coming in loud and clear, but your voice is loud. It is more subdued. I bet we have the wrong microphones on. Yep. There you go. Thanks, Marie. I have a 1 on my microphone because, for whatever reason, and I think it's time to get new mics. Mine is loud, and the 1, and I have to sit it over here. Mom's is not, so she has to put hers close to her mouth. Thank you, Marie. I appreciate the feedback on our technical difficulties. Yes.
Always.
All right. So let's just arrange these and see if we can get a pretty little non-overwhelming arrangement going on. Here is your stick for the transfer. Each of the transfers come with these application sticks, these little plastic sticks, which turn into nice little tools for other things later.
This looks like it has dirt.
All of them have.
Well, I mean, like it's...
Oh, like it's growing out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should probably be on an edge, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like that.
But, yeah.
Okay, I'm just trimming off. I'm trimming off this edge. I want to make sure they can actually, yeah, I think they can see what we're doing. Okay. And then the other longer one. I think I might do like that.
Should we take
Yeah,
some
I
of
would-
that off?
Yeah.
So
You can trim the bottom because you want the very bottom of that plant to look like it's kind of coming out of the shelf. I think that's cute. Okay, I think that's one for later. All right, I think this will be cute. I think
To
that's
get
gonna
the
look
dirt.
good. What do you think?
To get it down there, I'd have to cut the leaves off. I don't...
Well, you can also bend it so the leaves will actually be.
On the thing.
Yep.
Good idea.
Yeah. So let's see how far over. Let's do that, Mom. And then when you get to this crease in the mirror, you'll just have to work with that.
Okay.
But you should be okay. What do you think about this? Or is this, we
I
need
like
a taller
it.
one? Maybe a taller one over, switch it. It's like a little puzzle for balance.
Mm-hmm.
There, I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, no problem, love to help a creator. Thank you, Marie. We need all the help we can get.
Yes, really.
Okay, you're out. I'm going to start here and we'll work our way in.
Okay.
So you just want to remove the backing and lay it down. And once you lay it down, try not to pull it back up. Sometimes they don't adhere right away, but sometimes they do, and then it'll just end up tearing. So once it's on there, Mom, I kind of just use my finger to get it to lay down a bit. That's pretty. And then I'm going to start on an edge, and as always, I hold the stick at about a 45-degree angle, and this is coming off really nice. You don't want to scrape super hard, especially if you have fresh paint, because sometimes you can actually pull up the paint and the transfer adheres to the paint that you're pulling up and not your project. And
could be a mess.
so here, when I get to this edge, Mom, where it's going to go down into the crease of the mirror, I'm going to take and just see how I'm just like folding it down into it with the edge of the stick.
Yes.
Yep, and it should go right in. I think I mentioned it last week, but I've sold several mirrors, well, a couple this year that had the transfers on it, and people seem to love them. And like I said, the transfers go on so easily, especially onto the glass part. I think one of the things people try to do is they think they really need to like dig in with but you really don't. I mean, it's just a really kind of light touch to get these to go on. All right.
You're faster than me.
I know.
You're always
Do you think
faster
you
than
say
me.
that every?
I do.
think
I
you
say it every time.
week.
I'm trying to keep up with it.
Here's a clean, soft t-shirt piece for you. So once we've done that, you're doing great. You show up and give great content and explain your process very well. Thank you, Marie. That's sweet of you. I appreciate that. Hello, Amy. Thanks for joining us. We are finishing up the thrifted mirrors if you're just hopping on here from last week with the milk paint. And I've sanded and gotten these how I want them. We sealed the other one. It's pretty much done and drying over there. We did that at the beginning. So now we're putting on the little IOD transfers. And this was from Sarah Featon's Botanicals. They've been out of this one for a while. I have to see if it's back yet, because it was a popular one from this last release. And we're just putting on.
You'll get all those done, and I'll still be working on this.
Well, you might actually have it and you don't think, and you keep rubbing. Like, are you pulling at the? Yeah, you want to pull at the same time. I like to keep that right in the where it's coming off.
Right.
Keep the stick. Yeah, doing that. And when it has the little ridges, it's still doable. You just got to take your time and make sure you're kind of working across the little piece and not. Like when you have a lot of ridges, if you would do the top and the bottom and ridges last, you're probably going to get that transfer to break. And so if you kind of go in one
this one
direction
little
up.
piece doesn't want to.
Let's see.
It's right there.
You got it.
And then watch.
It's up. That's paint. I think that's paint.
Well,
You scrubbed too hard.
I thought it was part of the.
I think it could be part of the little part of the transfer that got paint on it and didn't.
Oh.
And usually that's from just force.
Rubbing too hard.
Yeah. I think it all came up.
It did it.
Yeah. It did. Is that one there? I think here maybe. Okay, so I'm going to give you.
Did I crack that? Or I can't. I guess I probably had my
No, it's
glasses
fine.
on. And
See, there. I have one like that here too.
okay.
You're fine. How about that guy right next to him?
Okay.
And we have these last two here, and I'm going to see if I need anything to kind of maybe just come up this way a little. I'm not sure yet. And then we'll talk about how we would seal this. So I'll show you a little tip too. When you are putting transfer on milk paint, this just made me think of this when I saw this happen. The reason I didn't put it up there on the super chippy part is because sometimes the transfer will start to lift with the paint. See that little chip?
Yeah.
See the paint chip coming up. So then you've got the transfer on the paint chip, and eventually that might chip off. it's okay.
But if we
yeah, if we coat it, we're going to seal it, and that will help that.
Okay.
But I've never really applied a transfer to a super chippy area like up there. I wouldn't do it. All right, we are done. I'm going to show you guys this so we can get a finish on it. Did you buff it, Mom, with the...
I did.
These are really cute. I mean, you
What a
could
good
keep going
idea.
and work up the sides a little bit. Yeah, I just came together nicely. Okay, let me see if I can get this standing up enough to let you guys see it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that without the glare. So if it didn't look great, I promise it really does in real life. I'm gonna get some good pictures, close-ups of this when it's actually hanging on a wall. And yeah, I really, really like it. Now you don't have to seal, like the part that's on the mirror, you aren't gonna wanna seal with anything because it's gonna haze up your mirror. So the part on the mirror, don't even worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's not like anybody's going to be
scratching at it.
or anything's going to be rubbing on it too much. So, but the part that's on the wood, we do want to seal. And I'm just going with, you could go with a brush-on clear sealer, like Big Top, Liquid Patina from the DIY line. In the Sweet Pickins line, you could use any of their top coats. I've been loving the beeswax from Sweet Pickins, so that's what I'm using, and that's just the kind you just rub on. Besides the fact that it smells like lemons, that's always good. So, Mom, we can apply this. You can apply this with a wax brush, but to be a little more careful, we're going to just use
the rag.
Yeah, so we're just going to dip in and rub it on. And instantly it's going to deepen the color of the paint just a little bit. I can do, when you get to the transfer part, just be real.
I'm going to let you do that.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. And if you remember from last week, we have the coat of DIY paint on first, and they work really well together, DIY paint and Sweet Pickins. So the darker gray under this is the DIY showing through. And don't be alarmed if you get a little bit of gray coming up. That's going to eventually cure, and it will not do that.
Oh, let's put a big glob of wax on.
You can rub it right in. I love it how it just, and the sheen that it gives us is really pretty too. It's just kind of a really, not matte, maybe just a step above matte. Deepens the paint color a little bit. Hopefully someone will love this. Well, I don't know where I'd put it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And I'll probably just do one coat. I just want to make sure that everything's been covered. Nah, it's okay. That's all right.
You reach it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if it's easier to use a brush to get into all the little nooks and crannies, if you have a lot, then you can do that. Looks like the dogs are about ready.
Yeah. Fine.
How do they always know that we're approaching being finished? That's funny. So we got a little wax on the mirror. It's not a huge deal. We will just use a little bit of the Windex and paper towel, but we're not going to Windex down by the transfers. I don't know what would happen. I just don't want to take a chance. So down there we'll use a clean, soft dye. Okay. This is an older mirror, so it's got a couple little etched places but I think when it's hanging up, you probably won't notice that as much. But I think this turned out adorable. I'm really happy with these transfers we chose because
yeah,
there's a little glop of beeswax. And the beeswax from Sweet Pickins comes in several colors: white, clear, dark. Okay. So we got all that chippy at the top, and we got these pretty botanicals at the bottom. I promise I'll get a better picture. It's hard to show you. And then we have the major big mirror over there that we did, and we finished in clear oil wax. And I love how it turned out too. This had faded burlap underneath.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, the DIY paint, faded burlap.
Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, I love
That
it.
looks nice.
Remember, it was just kind of a cheapy looking wood. I feel like it. Yeah,
You gave
this
it more
is just
character. Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
We'll get a good picture of this too. These big, awkward. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, hopefully that inspires you to go out and get a thrifted mirror and see what you can do with it with some paint and transfers. So, thanks for joining us, and we will be back next week with that fun pumpkin DIY. We'll see you then. Bye.